Okay, welcome to the future gardening farm, hopefully. I can't remember if I showed this last time, but I spent a good few weeks trying to get this glass wall on. And this is just basically to highlight the spawning area of the guardians, and all the water inside the wall is the stuff we need to remove in order to make the farm. So yeah, that is that. At least we've got it shaped and ready to go. And it's actually an ideal spawning area because if we take our render distance down a bit, let's just say to 12 chunks, I don't think you can see any land from here. Okay, maybe you can see that stuff. Basically, it's a lot easier at being here than if... Imagine it was in an ocean surrounded by mountains, and then we've got to deal with caves right up to Y63, and then maybe potentially some in the mountains, and then obviously the surface of the land. But because there's no land and there's loads of ocean, it means there's less caves. So it should be fairly easy to get this optimized, hopefully. So we've got our sponges all nicely dried out. Now, I've never done this before, so I thought I'd do it on camera. I didn't actually plan to do this today, by the way. It was just complete spur of the moment. Right, so I guess we just do something like that. But then it all comes back. Or do we have to do it from down below? That's weird. Yeah, there's got to be a technique to this. You've got to destroy the source blocks. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is... I had a quick search on YouTube. Alright, so the first thing we've got to do is take out all the water inside of the temple, because if we don't, then... Oh, did it work? I think it did. Oh, it kind of did. I'm still getting used to using these, but I think I can get the hang of it. Kind of. But yeah, we've got to take out the water inside the guardian temple, because if we don't, then... If we take out all the water around the temple, then this will be all the water in here will be the only place the guardians can spawn, and it'll make this place harder to clear later, so I think the advice was do it first. The problem is I'm not overly sure how I can do it. I did that one. That was good. Alright, so this doesn't appear to be too difficult. I think we can kind of get the hang of this somewhat. Alright, so I was trying to think of a creative way of removing the water, something that's easy. Unfortunately, I've discovered there's no easy way. It's going to take a lot of time. But I looked online and I saw this is a flying machine, for those that don't know. They came out in 1.8 with slime blocks. And this is actually a creative way to get rid of just one layer of water. It only gets rid of one layer, unfortunately. And I can't actually remember how to build it. If I do that... Okay, that works. And then I put one there, and then... Oh, there we go. We're missing it. Let me just run to the other side. So here we have it. As you can see, what's basically happening here is we've got a layer of... we've got some stone bricks down there, and they are being pushed along. They're all connected to the slime blocks, and then we've got the flying machine on top that is just basically moving them along, and that's getting rid of the top layer of water. Now see, that's the issue. It only gets rid of one layer of water. It doesn't get rid of any more, because there's a 12 block limit for how many blocks can be pushed by a piston. But yep, there you go. See, it got rid of them all. I don't make it very clear, but this was not my idea. I got this online. This was somebody else's design, somebody else's idea. If I remember, which probably I won't, but if I do, I'll try and link the video in the description. But you should be able to search it up. I can't remember what the name of the video is even, but I'll find it in my history, and we'll hopefully link it in the description. But just to clarify, this is not my idea. This was something off the internet, someone else's. I mainly did this just to test it, and as you can see, it works pretty well. But I don't think I'll be using this all the time, simply because it's efficient, but it's not like... It would be a lot harder to pull off the lower down you get, because you would start hitting into this wall here, and yeah, things would just get messy. So I'm going to try and avoid... Oh dear, that's Squid's getting wrecked. I'm going to try and avoid using this, and I'll probably just use sponges in the end. Alright, so as you can see, I've cordoned off a 5x5 area. And I think what you were supposed to do is look east and west, and... oh, I've got no sponges. Let's go get some sponges. Alright, so we've got the sponges now. So I think what you do is you look east and west, which is that way and that way, obviously, based on the sun's axis. And I think you just do something like... I think we should go around the other way, because I'll be able to dig down here. So that and that real quick. Yeah. So that seems to work. Let's get that one back. And then that and that. That was a pretty good throw, if I do say so myself. So yeah, as you can see, we've got rid of all the water there. I've left the sponges back behind because I'm too lazy to go get them now. And then what you do is we just add another wall here. And now we've got a 5x5 area again. We can just start the whole process again. So let's see. Like that. Like that. Oh, I messed up badly, didn't I? Oh dear. Oh dear, that's not good. So as you can... oh, crumbs. As you can see, the sand didn't fall all the way down because obviously we've got the temple covering the lower half. But we can just simply count the blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then place the sand here. And that way we can get rid of the stuff underneath. And these guys are about to get it if they don't stop it. There we go. And so now we can simply do that. Oh, appears there's something up there. And there we go. And then obviously after that we can just simply remove the sand, and we should be able to just let it fall. We get sand back, and we can move on to the next layer. This guy's playing peekaboo. Oh, we gotta get all this stuff before it despawns. Don't want to have to go hunting for these again. So yeah, basically what I need to do from now until dusk today, IRL, is get all this water cleared out using that method. It's going to be slow, it's going to be tedious, but we need to try and do it despite these guys being a tad annoying. But yeah, we need to try and do it, because if we don't do it now, it'll never get done. So yeah, I will see you in about 5 hours. 5 hours later, 10 hours later, I've actually lost count. It could well be 20 hours. But finally, this is all done. I'm done. I am done with single player. Alright, I'm just kidding. I'm not done. But that did take a lot of time. Basically, I think it took me about 14 hours yesterday, and then it took me a further like 4 hours today. So yeah, it's about 18 hours. Man, it took so long, and it wasn't even like like the top part here obviously took a long time, but I had to go underneath as well. If we just drop down here, I had to do everything under here, and then there was still stuff inside. You know, there could still be pockets of water that I've missed. I don't know, but overall, I think we got the best part of it, I should say. Let's go up here. This is the room the gold is usually in. Overall, it took ages basically. That's what I'm trying to say. There's been no hostile mob spawns that I've seen, but I've been keeping the place lit up just in case. So yeah, overall, I'm happy it's over. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, and I've heard that it was hard and it took a lot of time. I didn't know it took that amount of time. Oh, it took so long. I can't get out, so we'll just have to cheat and go out that way. And this is what it looks like, obviously, in when there's no water on it. Although, obviously, I've taken off the top because that was getting in the way of the sand. And yeah, and basically, I just did that 5x5 pattern all the way along here. I watched so many DVDs and a few YouTube videos, but it was mainly just DVDs. I burned through so many as I worked on this, but it just took so long. I know loads of people like to start new worlds, like Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, etc, etc, work map resets and that. And well, map resets are good. They just, if I did a map reset, I'd have to do all this all over again, and everything else I've accomplished in the last 180 or so episodes I've done. So I don't, this is just one reason why I'm motivated to keep going in my world. But yeah, there we go. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It looks very, very different in the open. Alright, so for the rest of the time, we are going to be building the Guardian farm. And unfortunately, we can't jump straight into building it right now. We need to get rid of the ocean monument itself. So that's what you can see me doing at the minute. I'm just using a haste to beacon, efficiency 5 pickaxe, and I'm tearing the monument to shreds. This process did actually take quite a long time. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, and because there was like so many rooms and so many drops and everything like that, and in the fact it's such a great size, meant it took quite a while. It is actually a cool generated structure rather. It's probably on balance my favourite as far as like design and aesthetics go, but we're getting there. And you can kind of see all the layers of it as it goes down, and once the base of it's off, the pillars, it's just the pillars that are left. After I took the final pillars off, I decided to flatten the land completely. I hadn't seen what other people had done, like with regards to like at the bottom of where the ocean monument used to be, so I decided just to completely flatten it. And after that, I decided to put some, I just one block on top of it, and I went for stone brick, which is what I'm putting on right now. I'm just adding some stone brick, have to keep it well lit, and it was actually the fact that I had to keep it lit up, and I thought to myself, maybe the lights won't look so good, so instead of having just tons of torches on top of the stone brick, I then put another layer on right after I put the stone bricks, the normal stone brick blocks on, and I put half slabs over the top. As you can see in this clip, there is a dark spot and a light spot, and the dark spot's basically the half slabs. Then we got on to building the actual farm. At the minute I'm just doing a bit of redstone. This is for the elevator, the item elevator, just using a simple design that I saw. I should add the link to this farm will be in the description. This wasn't my design, but anyway, moving on. This actually, what was said in the tutorial was that one elevator wasn't enough, or at least one dispenser or one dropper rather, wasn't enough. But this tutorial was based off an older version that used the old item elevators, which no longer work. Anyway, as you can see, placing cobwebs. This is to stop the guardians from jumping around. Can't have them jumping around. No. And then obviously we just kind of have to make the farm look half decent. I was less bothered about aesthetics, to be honest. I mean, farms always look very quaint, very I don't know, interesting. Like, you don't need to make them aesthetically good, at least in my opinion, for them to look pretty cool. As you can see, there's a line of hoppers going up, and that's to collect the ink sacs of squid that might die in the system, because they're obviously killed by the guardians. The guardians when they shoot at them. And we've just been placing signs there in the previous clip. That's to stop the lava from pouring onto the cobwebs. And we finally got on to placing the lava. And this is obviously what's going to kill the guardians when they enter the system. So that bit was fairly quick. Fairly straightforward, but now we have to move on to building the actual spawning area for the guardians, and man, this took a while. So it's basically a big I can't remember the exact dimensions of it, but it's basically just a big bowl, really, a fish bowl if you like, for want of a better expression. And yeah, that's just basically where the guardians spawn. And there may be some kind of like pauses in the video I'm not sure. It actually looks okay. I'm watching it back right now, and it looks okay. But that was... sorry if there's any sort of pauses or anything. So we've just built the dome, and now we're placing dirt over the top of the bottom part, and then on top of that fence gates, and this is to keep the water up. We could have used signs, but I just went for fence gates because that's what it showed in the tutorial. So I just wanted to play it safe, you know. Then obviously we had to get rid of the dirt, add the water, which will converge in the centre, and that will draw the guardians obviously into the killing area, and then we add the dirt at the top, and this is to hold the water. But I make a mistake, as you'll see later, and I don't add the water. And as you can see, because I don't add the water immediately, loads and loads of mobs have spawned, and it's going fine. You know, mobs are just chilling there. However, as soon as I show my face, suddenly like tons of them just converge in the area I'm at. I didn't know they could track you from that. I thought I could. I think I did. Like zombies, I knew could. But look at that, like spiders. And I'm sure in the last clip you saw a witch drink a speed pot. I don't know. It's really weird. So yeah, you can see that the farm is kind of working, but there's not that many spawning spaces. And then I realised that there's spiders climbing, which I caught in the third person cam, which is pretty cool actually. But yeah, like so many. The reason so many mobs spawned is because I'm up in the air, and if you're up in the air, less chunks are loaded around and about, and only the ones directly below you are. You saw 2 spiders despawn there, which is quite cool. So yeah, I had to battle it out with some spiders at the top, using my trusty water bucket to knock them off. And then, oh yeah, look at this, right? So there's a spider on the left, which I shoot, but then there's one on the right. That was an invisible spider. I think it's made clearer because my third person cam was in spec mode. So there you go, see, I shoot the spider, but that's the only spider. I don't see any other spider. And at this point I'm looking at my other computer to see if I can see the spider, and I can't, and it's only then I F5 and see the particles, and I'm able to knock it off. And this is pretty cool. There's a mob battle. As you can see, there's well, certainly skeletons are getting involved. I think it's mainly the skeletons because, you know, spiders can't really melee each other. So there's a spider and a skeleton. Oh yeah, and look, a creeper. A creeper must have got angry and blew up, which is pretty funny. But as you can see, I filled in the water, took away the dirt, and as you can see, it's working now, which is really, really cool. Then I had to get onto the collection area, which it was a bit of a hassle. He used an item filter that I'd never used before, and it had water streams in that, so I had to kind of get used to it. This is the part where if items can't make it into the system, they just go round and around and around in a circle, and they don't clog up the area. And you need to use the ender chests to get the items against the wall, so they do go into the hoppers. It's a really neat design, which I quite like. Unfortunately, the redstone was a different sort, and I usually don't trust these sorts of designs, as you'll see in a minute. But I just go ahead and copy the tutorial anyway and just build it like that. And it seems to work fairly well, or I thought it would work fairly well. This is me just putting the last of the hoppers in before I test it. As you can see here, I put in a stack of items, and it's basically affecting the other ones. It affects 2 of the other ones. It doesn't affect the 4th one. And that's why I don't tend to trust those item filters like the redstone. And that's why I use... This is not my own... The one I trust is not my own design, but to this day I've no clue where I got it from. It wasn't the wiki. I think it was some random forum I was searching on. But yeah, this is the redstone that I usually use in every item filter that I do now. It takes more resources, but it's, in my opinion, is better, more consistent. And as you can see here, add a stack of items, and the other ones aren't affected, which is pretty good. So yeah, that is the farm. It's pretty cool. You can see the top of it at work here. Alright, and that is it. It is finished. So, oh dear, what's that? Bad chunks. So that took so long. I don't know how long that took. Well, building the farm only took about a day, but just the whole process of, you know, going through the monument, getting rid of the water, dismantling the monument, then building the farm could have taken well in the excess of about three days maybe. I don't know. It's been a big project, but I'm glad it's done. I'm also glad I've managed to fit most of it inside of one episode, you know, so that is pretty cool. Believe it or not, it was actually a very complex episode. I used 3 pieces of recording software to record this. I used 2 different video editors to edit the video together. So it was quite the... Oh dear, I just saw one go flying off the side there. But yeah, no, it was quite the video. I really enjoyed editing it. I'm not gonna lie, and just I guess making it and that. I should say apologies. Like, it'd be really nice if the spec cam, because you know I had a spec cam looking down on what I was doing. It'd be really nice if that could move. But the reason I never moved it, or at least I didn't move it much, was because of FPS. Here, let's go down and take a look. Only got 1 ender pearl left. It was because of FPS, so I needed to stay in that particular position to you know, maximize the FPS that I was getting. And so if I was to move it around, it would load more chunks, and that would, you know, reduce the frames. So yeah, apologies that it didn't look very classy, but I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? I did my best, and it looked alright. Did its job. Anyway, you can kind of see is it working there. Just saw a guardian go down. You won't see many spawning because we're too close, but that's kind of why we have to go way up there. So we have to stand next to the portal and AFK up there if we want to maximize the spawning rates of these guys. And the funny thing is, I thought in order to build this you need to place water sources everywhere in there, but apparently you just need to do it at the top, and even like water flowing down counts as a place they'll spawn. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Pretty neat thing there. And I was thinking, you know, maybe I should go and like maximize the spawning rates and light up all the caves and get rid of all the land and that, but I don't think we really need to. As you can see here, we've almost got a full chest of prismarine shards. Almost half a chest of prismarine crystals, got a lot of fish, and 25 ink sac, which, let's face it, isn't the main priority of that, but it's still nice to get it. I'm not sure if I explained how this works. I kind of did when I was in the voiceover commentary, but I can explain a bit better here. So basically what happens is, imagine there's loads and loads of items coming through the filter, and there's 64 prismarine shards in here, and then other prismarine shards that come, they won't go in. So instead of just like kind of going to the end and stopping, they instead go round for another loop. And so that way we don't lose any items, or no items clog up the system or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty good. I'm almost tempted to place blocks all the way over the top here just to prevent them from going out. We should do that just in case. Anyway, I'm just going to call it a day there. I have spent so long recording and editing this. I am quite done with it for now. So thank you all very much for watching. Your viewing is much appreciated. I will see you next time.